Alrighty, everybody. Believe we are live. Welcome to the channel. My name's Nate, and welcome to the channel where we discuss faith and culture, and we try to do it from a biblical view. And tonight, I wanted to discuss something that our former president, Donald Trump, had said after the last election, and that was he basically blamed the anti-abortion crowd and said that that is why the Republican Party lost the midterm election. Didn't seem to want to admit that it might have something to do with the fact that the Republican Party has failed to follow through with any of their promises in the past, and that they're really just a bunch of liberals and Democrats with a different name. But the Republican Party has just been horrible, and it might be that's the reason that people didn't turn out. I don't believe that had anything to do with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, or the fact that the pro-abortion crowd was still promoting getting rid of abortion. As a Christian, I have to have the stance, morally and biblically, ethically, that abortion is wrong, it's murder, and I'm not going to change on that. And our president, our former president, obviously doesn't have that same stance, doesn't have that same belief. And I know that the evangelical crowd highly supported Donald Trump when he ran for his first term in office, and they supported him again as his second when he ran again. However, I am really hoping and praying that he will make the decision to drop out of the 2024 race, as he does not really have the views, have the same ideas that Christians do, or I don't think he really truly understands what the American experience is, what America is about. And I just got a couple verses I want to read here real quick in Proverbs. And Proverbs 28 verse 2, it says, "For the transgression of a land, many are the princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, the state thereof shall be prolonged." And so we see here that we have a huge bureaucracy in this country, and it's coming about. We can look at the Bible because of the sin of our land, the sin of our people. And it says there, "For the transgression of the land, many are the princes thereof." And we can see that as a country begins to become more sinful, more wicked, more violent, that we see that the rise of bureaucracy, of more laws, of more rules, and so that's that biblical principle. But then it says the second half is, "But by a man of understanding and knowledge, the state thereof shall be prolonged." And so we really need someone that has understanding and knowledge in order to help our country. And I don't believe that Donald Trump was that man, and I don't believe that he is now as well. And also I want to read one other verse in Proverbs chapter 29. In verse 2, it says, "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn." And we can certainly see that right now. You have the wicked in authority on both sides of the aisle, and we can see that things are not going in the right direction, and people are, they are mourning. They're upset over the things that are happening. Things aren't going well, and they're hurting, and that's because we have wicked people that are in authority. The righteous aren't there. And so Donald Trump can try to play the blame game, but he obviously doesn't have the same moral code that I do as a Christian, and we can see that on a lot of things. But abortion is a line that I don't cross. I can't cross that line. I won't. And so as I was reading through this article about Donald Trump, a few other thoughts came to my mind, and one of them is that like it or not, right or wrong, he's a very divisive character, much of which is self-imposed, much of which has been false characterization of him by the media and by the public. And so, it's not all his fault that he's such a divisive figure. A lot of it is, but not all of it. But he has no chance of winning in 2024. I don't believe that he has the evangelical base that he used to have. I believe that is quickly dissipating. and I believe that he will just cause more harm than good if he jumps in the race. I believe Franklin Graham already has announced that he is staying out of the Republican primary, that he is focusing on the things of God, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with the Republican primary. I think that's kind of a first for the Grahams, as to stay out of the politics like that, and I commend him for that. I think Franklin Graham is probably a more biblically correct than his father was, and but he's always been involved in politics and things like that, and to see him say that he's not getting into it when he was wholeheartedly supporting President Trump in the past, I think says quite a bit. One of the other things is that I was thinking about is that President Trump was not a conservative really in hardly any way. He was a big spender, had no problem with debts, with deficits, and wasn't even trying to bring down the debt. I mean, a lot of people want to blame Biden, and rightfully so, for a lot of the inflation and a lot of things that came about from all the money that was given out due to the COVID response. But if we remember, Donald Trump is the first president that started handing out all the money left and right. He also didn't seem to have a problem with the lockdowns. He had no problem with shutting things down. And so, he actually started a lot of that, and he's the one that got the ball rolling. And if he would have won re-election in 2020, we would have seen a lot of the same things that we're seeing now. And so now everybody's blaming Biden, which he deserves a lot of it. He's not a good president. I'm not trying to give him credit for anything. He certainly kept the ball rolling and got it spinning even faster. But Donald Trump got that ball rolling. Realistically, the only few things that he did well were, I believe, that he got some good judges on the bench, which were needed, which were necessary. And he did a much better job there. And that's going to have a huge impact for years, many years to come. And so that was good. And I believe that he had a pretty good foreign policy. He dealt well with foreign countries. I don't believe that we would be seeing the rise of some of these other countries as far as attacking other countries such as Ukraine and Russia. I'm not sure that we would be seeing that if Donald Trump was still president. But those are really only the few things that I think he did well, that he did correct. He also was a very poor judge of character in a lot of ways. He obviously trusted the medical community way too much, took their word for things, and let them run rampant over him. He allowed his family to come in who did not have views that were good for the country, and gave them way too much authority, way too much power. And then he also trusted way too many people in the Republican Party who despised him and weren't there to help him. And so, his judge of character was very lacking, and that was very evident. When it became apparent, or should have become apparent to him, he also refused to clean house and do what needed to be done. And, his downfall was really his own fault at the end of the day. I mean, he had a lot of battles to overcome with the media. They were definitely against him, 10,000%. There was no letting up on him, and there still is no letting up on him. Again, not saying that that's right or that's fair. A lot of that he brought upon himself, but he didn't clean house. He didn't do what needed to be done when he saw who the enemy was. And so, his divisiveness, his non-conservative or big spending, big government, and his poor judge of character are just a couple of the reasons that I thought of why I don't believe he should run for president, after the fact that he certainly doesn't hold to the Christian values that I do. There's a couple preachers running around the country that spent some time with him that are trying to make excuses for President Trump and trying to claim that he is a Christian, when by his own testimony he's never had to feel sorry for his sin. He's admitted that he's never repented of anything because he never felt like he needed to. And that right there tells you all that you need to know about a man's walk with God and a man's salvation. Now, I do not take glory in that, and I hope and pray that Donald Trump will someday come to see the truth, and that he will actually come to know Christ and be a saved man. As he is getting older, his days on this earth are limited. I mean, any of us, that could end at any time. But, I hope that someday he does come to the truth. But he certainly doesn't understand Christianity. He doesn't understand truly the American dream, the American principles upon which this country were founded on. And well, I admit I supported him the first time, and I did vote for him the second time, as the options, neither one was good. I will not vote for Donald Trump in 2024. I cannot, especially with his stance on abortion. I know that he put a lot of pro-life judges in, but he still, at the end of the day, always wants to make a path or make a way for exceptions, and there are no exceptions. This is something that's black and white, um, and you can't make exceptions for it. There are none, and that's something that I firmly stand on as a Christian and as an American. As a Christian, murder is wrong. The murder of the innocents, the shedding of blood of the innocents, God will not allow that to go unpunished. I truly believe that a lot of the things that we're seeing going on in our country, the bad things, are the results of the 50, 60 million babies that we've killed over the last half a century. We like to go back and look at the wickedness of the Nazis, and which was wicked, and of the communists, which was wicked. But America's got its own genocide, and we killed millions upon millions of babies, and God's not going to let that go without punishment. And then as an American, I also cannot vote for someone that doesn't see that as black and white. In our founding documents, it's the whole reason of our country is for the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. The pursuit, not guaranteed. I'm sorry. For life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I got that wrong. So life is guaranteed, liberty is guaranteed, and the right to pursue happiness. And if we take away that right for someone to live, then we're no longer the country that we were founded upon. We're no longer the America that our founders had envisioned. And so for those reasons right there, I truly hope that Donald Trump chooses to back out, and that he does not run, and that he does not create chaos in the 24 election. I don't know who will run, and at the end of the day, I doubt we'll get somebody that's truly great. I do not see any great leaders on the horizon, and but we can hope and pray that maybe God will give us someone that is at least righteous, that's a righteous person, and go from there. But thank you for watching. This was our first or longest live stream that we've done, and I don't know that we're going to do any editing of it. But if you like the content, we would certainly appreciate it if you would hit like, if you would subscribe, and maybe share our videos with someone else. Hopefully we'll be doing some more live streams as we move along, and on some different topics. We'll be doing a lot of topics on faith and culture, and we're going to do our best to do it from a biblical perspective. So until next time, I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and that